So today's topic of discussion is sources of microbial contamination of milk and milk products. Right from first semester, you are studying about different sources which are responsible for adding some number of contaminants to your milk as well as in milk products. So as all of you know that when milk is secreted from uninfected animals udder, it is almost sterile and it becomes contaminated during milking, cooling, storage. And you all have idea that milk is a complete food and it is an excellent medium for the growth and activity of bacteria, yeast and mold, which are the common contaminants of any food item. And their rapid growth, particularly at high ambient temperature, can spoil the milk for liquid consumption and for manufacturing dairy products. So it is very important to maintain the quality of your raw milk. A number of different type of platform tests are suggested by different organizations, which you will have to perform at DOT. So just after receiving your milk tanker or milk cans, you have to take sample from that and you have to go for platform test like alcohol test, alcohol algerine test, then Claughton boiling test, detectable acidity. Uh, you have to test different kind of adulterants, additives, or preservative. So automatically you can segregate your raw milk depending upon the quality of that. And whenever you are collecting that milk, immediately you have to cool down it below 4 degrees centigrade just to restrict the activity of different kind of microorganisms which are present initially. So something about the interior of udder, what type of microorganisms is there and what should be the population level. Uh, so varying numbers of bacteria are found in aseptically drawn milk with the reported counts of 100 to 10,000 colony forming unit per ml from normal udder. So if your animal is normal, not suffering from any sort of abnormality or any diseases, automatically it should be below this level 100 to 10,000 CFU per ml or in the range of this one. But an anticipated average is 500 to 1000 CFU per ml in advanced countries. And these different type of contaminating microorganisms enter in the udder through the duct at the teat tip that varies in length, that is from 5 to 14 millimeter, and its surface is heavily keratinized. This keratin layer retains the milk residues and exhibit antimicrobial activity. Because of this, discarding of first few streams of milk helps in lowering the counts of microbes in milk. So what are the natural things present in your milk animal? Because of this layer, it is responsible for restricting, or it is simply restricting the uh, number of microorganisms in your raw milk. And milk from different quarters also vary in numbers. Different species of bacteria that are found in milk as it comes from udder are very limited as given in next table. So these are the different microorganisms generally found in your raw milk. In percentage, micrococci is from 30 to 99%, streptococci is 0 to 50%, Asporogenous gram-positive rod is less than 10%, then gram-negative rods is less than 10%, Bacillus spores is less than 10%, other groups of microbes are less than 10%. So these are the bacterial types which are present in your raw milk. Depending upon the condition, what type of condition you are maintaining at your farm, what type of personnel hygiene, you are maintaining what is the surface cleanliness, then the human handlers, the utensils you are using for milking purpose, all are responsible for these microbial compositions. So the influence of sometimes your animal is suffering from mastitis. So what are the different type of microorganisms generally found in that? Escherichia coli, Streptococci, then Staphylococci, then Corynebacterium, and these are the species: Staphylococcus aureus, Streptococcus agalactiae, then Streptococcus dysgalaxiae, Streptococcus uberis, Escherichia coli, then Corynebacterium pyogenes. These are the microorganisms generally found in milk uh, obtained from a milk animal who is suffering from mastitis problem. So you must remember the name of all these microorganisms. Whenever you are talking about the microbiological quality of your raw milk, you must consider the presence of different kind of contaminants which are because of the mastitis problem. Then animal shed and surroundings. It is also very important what type of environmental condition or surrounding atmosphere is there, and the different kind of milk produced on farm with poor hygiene practices may undergo significant spoilage and have a shorter shelf life. When compared to milk produced under hygienic conditions, microbes associated with the bedding materials include, these are the coliform, spore formers, staphylococci, streptococci, and other gram-negative bacteria. So you have idea about the different type of microorganisms. What are the sources? What type of contaminants are there in bedding material of your animal? Then what is the microorganisms generally present as a contaminant from air, from equipment, from human handlers? So now the next one is milking equipment. Sometimes people are using milking machines, so automatically the compositional variation is there. Improperly cleaned milking and cooling equipments are one of the main source of milk contamination. Milk residues left on the equipment contact surface supports the growth of a variety of microorganisms. And what are those microorganisms? Improperly specialized milking machine contain thermoduric micrococci. Here you can see the specificity. Micrococci is already there in the system, but in case of machine milking, if you have not properly cleaned your machine, automatically the number of thermoduric micrococci will be more. Then Bacillus species and Microbacterium species is there. Are predominantly compared to coliform streptococci. Coliform and streptococci is already there in the system as a contaminant. Then rubber hoses predominantly contribute to Pseudomonas rather than thermoduric. So wherever some rubber parts are there, they are good source of Pseudomonas. Now something about the microorganisms. It is widespread in the nature. Microbes are distributed everywhere in the environment surrounding us, and they are found in the soil, water, air, plant, animal, food product, in the human body and on the surface of the human body. And automatically, whenever they are getting a suitable condition, they gain into your product, and ultimately, after getting a suitable temperature or ambient condition, it will start growing in the food item and attain a very high population responsible for creating some kind of diseases or some kind of abnormality. At the same time, they are also responsible for creating some kind of spoilages in your product. Now, something about the microflora of air. I will teach you in detail about the air, what are the different methods you can use for entering different kind of microorganisms into the factory environment, and what are the methods used for checking the sterility of environment or air. Then first of all, it is important to know something about the microflora of air, how it is coming. Air for microorganisms is less favorable environment than soil and water. So there are almost almost know the nutritious materials necessary for reproduction of bacteria. Actually, what is there in air? There is no nutrient available. So automatically it is not favorable for the growth of different kind of microorganisms. So desiccation and ultraviolet rays operate perniciously on microorganisms. Nevertheless, many microbes in air can be saved more or less long time. Main source of microbial air pollution is the soil, water, and man. So, what does it mean? As all of you know, the main contaminants of air is soil, water, and human handlers. They are responsible for adding some number of contaminants in air, and automatically through air, um, it will transmit to some food item which is not covered, and whenever they will get a suitable temperature, they will create abnormal condition to your product. Now something about airborne contamination. Aerial contamination of milk by bacteria is significant in comparison to microbes with those that are derived from the teat surface. The microbial count of air inside rarely exceeds 200 CFU per liter. Then micrococci account for more than 50% of aerial microflora. Air contains dust, moisture, and bacteria, hence its entry should be minimized in milk. So you can conclude that whatever dust particle is there inside your barn or inside your manufacturing system or production system automatically, and what is the moisture level, these are responsible for adding some number of contaminants to your raw milk. Micrococci, coryneiforms, bacillus spores, streptococci, and gram-negative rods are the major genera which is present in air. And in general, more air incorporated into milk leads to the faster growth of bacteria. Following are some of the practices that increase aerial counts in milk. So what are the different things which are responsible for adding some number of microorganisms to your system, and how you can control sweeping of flows just before milking process is not advisable. Handling hay and feed shortly before milking process is also not advisable. You should not practice these things in your milking barn. Then brushing of animal prior to milking process should be avoided. Having the dusty bedding material for animals is not good. And at the same time, allowing dust and dirt to accumulate on the walls of ceiling of sheds is also prohibited. So if you are doing these practices, automatically you are responsible for adding some number of microbes to your system. So you should avoid these practices before milking. Now something about the water supply, it is also very important. We are using different uh, uh, we are using water for different purposes during manufacturing operation, for washing, and even in our manufacturing operation we are doing um, cleaning of different equipments and utensils which are generally used for handling of milk and milk products. So automatically whatever water you are using, that must have good quality. At dairy farm, the water can be predominant source of microbial contamination. Water used in production should be of good bacteriological quality. Inadequately or uncleaned storage tank, untreated water supplies from natural sources like borewell tanks and rivers may also be contaminated with fecal microbes, that is coliform, streptococci, and clostridia. So automatically, whatever water you are taking from a storage tank or some other places, that must have a good quality level. Otherwise, it will add some number of contaminants to your product. In addition, a wide variety of saprophytic bacteria, that is Pseudomonas, coliform, other gram-negative rods, bacillus spores, coryneiforms bacteria, and lactic acid bacteria may also be present in water. And It may contaminate the milk potentially. The warm water used for udder washing is potent source of Pseudomonas and coliform because you are simply raising the temperature for of water for cleaning purposes, which is suitable for the growth of these two microbes. And uh, it may be responsible for causing mastitis also. So you should avoid mm, these things. Then personal hygiene is very important. I will discuss in detail about all these things, but a brief idea about all these things is very important before discussing these all in detail. So personal handling of milk and milk product constitute one of the most important source of microbial contamination, including potential pathogens in these different products. Hence, personal hygiene plays a very significant role in influencing the microbiological quality of the milk and milk products, which in turns may affect the health of consumer. And what is happening if a person is suffering from some kind of disease, automatically the contaminating the responsible microorganisms for creating that abnormality in human milk will gain entry into your product. And sometimes parts of the body is responsible for adding uh, different type of contaminants through skin, hands, hair, eyes, mouth, nose, respiratory tract, and excretory organs. So through these parts, uh, a number of different kind of microorganisms may enter into the system. So you should avoid all these things. So personal hygiene is very important. Employees should be provided training in food handling and personal hygiene. It is very important. A regular inspection of employees and their work habits should be conducted, and it is also a mandatory requirement uh, from different kind of standard or regulatory fixing bodies to maintain a good hygiene to all the dairy personnel. Incentive for superior hygiene and sanitary practices should be provided. Some type of incentive. Just by giving some kind of incentive, you can uh, you can maintain a situation which is good for the handlers. Employees should be responsible for making certain that the public is protected from unsanitary practices that could cause public illness. Personal hygiene is a basic step that should be taken to ensure the production of wholesome milk. So all these things are very important whenever you are going to talk about different standard, different type of testing methods used for different products. And whenever quality product is required, you have to keep your mind and you have to think in this direction also. So now something about the employee's responsibility. So these are the different points which you have to consider for maintaining good hygienic level in different employees. So simply you have to go through all, and just by going through, you can have these are the good hygienic habits one should teach. And in some factories, people are using this mechanized hand washer. So before entering into the factory premises, you should wash your hands, clean your hands, and thereafter you can start working. Now, hygienic monitoring of personnel, there are a number of different methods. Just by swab method, using swab method, you can get idea about the different type of contaminants present in your system. And a very important thing here is given the scale of marks for judging the result of bacterial examination are excellent is given to the workers from whose hand washing shows uh, 2000 count. It is excellent. Good 2000 to 500 bacteria. Then fair is 5000 to 10,000 CFU per ml. And if it is more than 10,000, it is bad. So automatically, clean hand is very much essential for maintaining the whole system. So now something about the enumeration of microorganisms in dairy environment. It is very important. And simply you have to go through the Sunita Grover book, in which the different methods generally used for enumeration of different kind of microorganisms in air is mentioned. So first one is sedimentation method, liquid impingement method, filtration, then electrostatic precipitation, centrifugation, and thermal precipitation. I'm just giving some idea about the sedimentation method. What is there in it? And the first one under this sedimentation method, you can write down sedimentation method. Under this, there are two methods. One is direct exposure method, and second one is air sampler method. So in sedimentation method, what is there? Viable bacteria, yeast, and mold in air can be determined by sedimentation and by several types of air sampler. There are air samplers available in different factories, laboratory. So just by using that, you can have idea about the total bacterial load present in your air. Exposure of sterile agar medium plates to air for a specific period of time has been used for many years, and the results are influenced by particle size and the velocity and direction of air currents in relation to agar plate. So first of all, you have to pour melted agar in your Petri plate, and you have to solidify it, keeping that melted agar at room temperature. And thereafter, when you want to check the total bacterial level of air in any section of your processing plant, simply you have to expose, you have to open the lid of that Petri plate, you have to expose it inside that manufacturing unit for a certain period of time. And after that, you have to close the lid, you have to place it inside the incubator, and after certain 48 hours of, or 24 to 48 hours of incubation, you have to take out from the incubator and see the bacterial count level. So just by doing this, you can have idea about the total bacterial number present in your system. So this one is known as sedimentation method. Then next one is direct exposure method. You can note down, you are requested to note down this. First method for knowing the enumeration of total bacterial number is sedimentation method. Under sedimentation method, first one is direct exposure method. Second one is air sampler method. Under this air sampler method, this is a technique wherein a measured volume of air is sampled onto the surface of agar plate. There are two types of such devices through which you have to pass the measured volume of air on the surface of solidified agar. That is sieve type, and second one is slit type. Okay, so that will be impinged on the Petri plate, rotated at particular speed under the slit or sleeve. So the plates are incubated and colonies are counted. The results are expressed as number of organisms per liter of air. So just by using that particular instrument, you can have idea about the total amount of air impinged on the surface of solidified agar. So these are the two methods: direct exposure method. Then next one is air sampler method. Now the second one is liquid impingement method. So this method is also very important. This method consists of depositing microorganisms from air into a liquid such as sterilized distilled water or nutrient broth, and then analyzing the number of viable microorganisms from this liquid by a standard plate count method. So it's very simple. So simply you have to take air sample and you have to mix that sample uh, into sterilized distilled water or whatever nutrient broth you are using for plating purposes. Now, some of the factors which affect viability and number of organisms in air during liquid imprisonment method are temperature, at what temperature you are performing uh, this test or taking samples, the ambient air conditions surrounding the area, the number and activity of people, and sanitary condition of factory environment. So in liquid imprisonment method, simply you are adding or you are mixing measured amount of air into sterilized distilled water or nutrient agar or different SPC medium for performing that particular test, and just by incubating that mixed medium or whatever dilution technique you are using for getting idea about the total bacterial number of any food item, just by doing the same, you can get the total number of microorganisms present in measured volume of air. Now the next one is filtration. Membrane filtration is there, sand filtration is there. There are a number of different type of membranes used in dairy industry having different pore size automatically depending upon the type of microorganism present in your environment. You have to choose a particular type of membrane. So just by passing a measured volume or quantity of uh, air, you can get idea about that. And just by placing that membrane on agar plate, or sometimes you have to mix it with some kind of sterile media, and thereafter you have to follow the same process, serial dilution technique, and you can get idea about the total bacterial load. Sand filtration is there. uh, Good quality of sand is there in an instrument, and simply you have to pass the air through that, and just by doing that you can get the total bacterial number, idea of total bacterial number present in air. Then electrostatic precipitation. You have to remember the name of all these. What are the different methods for enumeration of different kind of contaminants present in air? Electrostatic precipitation is also very important. Sampler collects particle by drawing air over an electrically charged surface. The sampler consists of two units through which air is drawn by an electrically operated blower. The one unit, the lower electrode, is negative and upper one is positive. Whereas the other unit, it is just the reverse. The organism which is positive charge are collected on the placed over the negative electrode, and the organism which is negatively charged are collected on the petri dishes placed over the positive electrode. So just by using this instrument, you can uh, have idea about the total contaminants number. Then the next one is centrifugation. It is also very important method. Centrifugation, you have already idea. Then the next one is uh, thermal precipitation. So just by applying some amount of heat, you can get the total number of microorganisms present in that measured volume of air. Now, in the next class, we will discuss about the air sanitation, which is very important in dairy industry. There are different methods generally used for air sanitation. Air filtration is one of them. Then use of germicidal chemicals, use of radiation, then electrostatic precipitation and air ionization is very important. Then laminar airflow, you all have idea about the laminar flow, what is happening inside your laminar flow system, then air washing and scrubbing system. So in next class, we will discuss in detail about different air sanitation method which people are using in dairy industry. Thank you. Thanks a lot. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, सिर्फ 8 लड़के। सुनो जी, तुम लोग पता कर लो कहीं सुनीता ग्रोवर का बुक मिले, क्योंकि देखो कुछ चैप्टर इसमें बहुत बढ़िया है। मैं चाहता हूं कि तुम लोग जो माइक्रोबायोलॉजिकल क्वालिटी कंट्रोल फॉर मिल्क एंड मिल्क प्रोडक्ट वाला चैप्टर है, वो तुम लोग किसी से भी लेके जरूर इसका ये कर लो, क्योंकि जितने रैपिड मेथड ऑफ डिटेक्शन ऑफ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म इन फूड आइटम, वो आपको पढ़ना बहुत ही जरूरी है। देयर आर सम फिजिको केमिकल मेथड्स, इस पे डिस्कशन करना बहुत आवश्यक है। व्हाट आर दोज मेथड्स? थीन लेयर क्रोमेटोग्राफी क्या होता है, हाई प्रेशर लिक्विड क्रोमेटोग्राफी क्या होता है, रेडियो इम्यूनो एसे, देन एंजाइम लिंक इम्यूनोसॉर्बेंट एसे, biological, there are some biological methods which people are using like duckling assay, chicken embryo techniques, trout assay, cell membrane assay, microbiological assay. So you must have idea about all these methods. What is direct epifluorescent filter technique, then what is radio amino assay method, then limulus lysate test, then glucuronidase test. A number of different type of tests people are performing, or different laboratories are performing for getting idea about the total bacterial load of different kind of food item. तो ये बड़ा जरूरी है कि हम माइक्रोबायोलॉजिकल टेस्टिंग, और दूसरी बात आपको ये ध्यान रखना है, क्योंकि आपको नाउ यू पीपल आर प्रिपेयरिंग योरसेल्फ फॉर हायर जो हायर लेवल का जो तुम्हारा एंट्रेंस एग्जाम है उसके लिए। तो मोस्टली देखा जाता है कि भाई क्वालिटी कंट्रोल केस में हम कितने तरह के प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, एंड व्हाट आर द स्पेसिफिकेशन ऑफ डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स, देन you have to have idea about the methods generally used for measuring or getting idea about different kind of microorganisms in those food substance and food formulations or food items. उसके बाद what are the different instruments used in a particular method, ठीक है, और what is the maximum permissible limit, what are the different organizations which are responsible for maintaining the quality of a particular product. तो जब इन सारे चीजों को जब तुम लोग जान जाओगे, एफ्लुएंट ट्रीटमेंट के बारे में आपको पता होना चाहिए, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ कंडीशन you have to create for effluent of different sections, and what quantity of alum is required, what amount of aeration is required, then what is deflocculating tank, what are the different chemicals you are adding in aeration tank. ये सारी चीजें, कौन कौन सा मेथड है रिसाइकलिंग का, हर चीज को आपको क्वालिटी कंट्रोल के कोर्स में आपको देखना पड़ेगा। किसी भी जगह का रिंस मेथड क्या होता है, स्वैब मेथड क्या होता है, लिख लो, नोट कर लो मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ। रिंस मेथड क्या होता है, स्वैब मेथड क्या होता है, सस्पेंशन टेस्ट क्या होता है, कैपेसिटी टेस्ट क्या होता है, ये सब हमेशा पूछा जाता है। मैं बता रहा हूँ आप लोगों को, इन सबों के बारे में आप लोग थोड़ा जरूर पढ़ लीजिएगा। सस्पेंशन टेस्ट, कैपेसिटी टेस्ट, उसके बाद जितने भी एंटीबायोटिक हैं, इफ योर एनिमल इज एडमिनिस्टर्ड विद सम काइंड ऑफ एंटीबायोटिक, ऑटोमेटिकली मिल्क जो सीक्रेट होगा उसमें भी कुछ रेसिडुअल अमाउंट आ जाते हैं। सो हाउ यू कैन get idea about different kind of antibiotic residues in your milk, that is very important. तो इसको आप लोग देख लीजिएगा, डेल्मो टेस्ट क्या होता है, जितने भी टेस्ट आपके इसमें दिया हुआ, कैम्प टेस्ट क्या होता है, मतलब स्टैंडर्ड तो आपको पढ़ना ही है। आपको कई बार पूछा जा सकता है कि भाई माइक्रोकैलोरीमेट्री क्या होता है, इंपीडेंस मेजरमेंट क्या होता है, लिमुलस लाइसेट टेस्ट क्या होता है, एटीपी मेजरमेंट क्या होता है, और पायरुवेट टेस्ट क्या होता है, नाइट्रेट रिडक्शन टेस्ट क्या होता है। ये 5-6 जो टेस्ट मैंने बताया, इसके बारे में आप लोग जरूर देख लीजिएगा, क्योंकि ये हमेशा आता है कि भाई डायरेक्ट मेथड क्या है टेस्टिंग का, इनडायरेक्ट मेथड कौन कौन से हैं, और किस पर्टिकुलर, होता क्या है कि तुम व्हाट एवर प्रोडक्ट यू आर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग दैट इज हाईली पेरिसेबल इन नेचर, व्हाट इज देयर, व्हाट इज द स्पेसिफिसिटी ऑफ आवर डेयरी प्रोडक्ट। हमारा मिल्क भी है, उसका लाइफ कम होता है, तुम सबों को पता है। तो मिल्क का लाइफ जब कम होता है तो हमको अब जो ट्रेडिशनल माइक्रोबायोलॉजिकल मेथड है वो बड़ा लंबा टाइम लेता है। अगर हम रिजल्ट आने के लिए उतने लंबे समय तक वेट करेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली क्या होगा, हमारा प्रोडक्ट हमारे फैक्ट्री में ही, हमारे घर पे ही स्पॉइल कर जाएगा, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट में ही। तो इमीडिएट रैपिड मेथड की जरूरत पड़ी जो एक्यूरेट भी हो, इजिली